What's going on? Back again. Everyone wants me to do the weekly updates or the daily updates on the equities, indices, futures, so not a problem. It's how I started. I just don't trade a lot of them anymore. I'd love to have a $5,000 account in the future silver market, that's for sure, but it's not going to happen right now. A lot of my notes are still on here from before, so I haven't done anything. I'm seeing straight away on the dollar, reverse head and shoulders, coming back into support. Not much of a right shoulder yet. It's making a head on the right. So I got a double top on the right shoulder here. Maybe come down and sling back hard. A lower dollar, doesn't that increase exports? So again, on the sling backs, could come all the way back to the head of the what do you call it? The head, the previous highs on the head of the pattern. And also on a cup and handle, you can see the probabilities on a cup and handle. You can search these kind of probabilities on what is it? The Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. Yeah, the big, giant, thick one. I think there's a free PDF online. You can find it. It's an older version, but you can get the gist of the probabilities of, on, like, for instance, a cup and a handle, how far the handle will drop in. I think it's 40% of the move. So it's in around here. Or is it 60%? I can't remember. But you can see those right shoulders always come back. Test the limits. Shake everybody out. That's a dollar. It's got higher lows throughout. Take a longer term. I got a double top on the right shoulder here. I'm thinking to retrace back in, shake everybody out. And this is a monthly, weekly chart, so it takes forever. So we could be looking at 3 months down the road before it comes down into the bottom. So quicker the better, though. Let's jump to S&P. I got the double top. I got the trend change. I think I went over this a couple times elsewhere. I got the double top 1. Crossing over the 34.2, retrace. That's those are bearish retraces. I got the rejection, so that's 4. Looking for a rejection into previous lows. The only thing that's going to save this is if this head really gets a jump crossing over the 8.13 and 34 back above support. But right now it's showing trend change. So on a legitimate long-term trend change, what do you call those? Long-term trends could last 3 to 6 years. But on the contrary, it could look like this, where it came across, tried to break, but then caught its legs and ended up reverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, crossing over, and then continuing So this is a much more volatile pattern, but anything could happen. But I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if a rejection happens here, 5. 5 reasons why the trend is changing on S&P. But we should know this week whether or not we get rejected, because the 8 is right there. So it hit the 8 up here, rejection, hit the 8, rejection, hit the 8 again, and then watch for that third time across the 8 for a turn. So it could take forever. Dow, same thing, same. So it broke down, bearish retrace back into resistance again. So double top, broke down, bearish retrace, broke down, bearish retrace. Watch for the rejection on the 8. Volatility index for the S&P. Looks like 3 weeks ago you had a nice pump. Pump it up. I remember everyone talking about this spike high. That was pretty badass. Looks like it's coming back into support. Closing on its lows. Sell into resistance, buy into support. All you volatility freaks. Double top. Broke down, bearish retrace, bearish retrace, bearish retrace. Watch for the rejection coming on NASDAQ. Apple following NASDAQ's lead. I think Apple just kicked themselves in the, shot themselves in the foot. Everyone told them to kick rocks. Because you gotta buy, what do you gotta buy? An attachment for every little thing now? Just to use the damn things. I think some of the, even the avid Apple users are pretty pissed off. They're just sucking you guys dry. It's all trendy stuff. Double top. No bearish retracement. Just a rejection. Flopped. Might get a turn into resistance. Always the turn into resistance. Where's that 8 at previous lows? Google. Now Alphabet. You can see the a little bit different here. I got lower high, popped across. I got the double bottom into resistance, and then I made a AB bottom and a 2-bar reversal on the weekly. So it might get a little pop back into support range. I got resistance. Well, it did flop over, that's for sure. But is it going to flop back over? Could happen. That 2-bar reversal is pretty ominous. Powerful. And then a pop over the 8 and then a hammer on the 8 over support. That's pretty nice. Watch for previous high breaks into resistance, into previous lows. Thinking Apple's going to pump into resistance as well. The Nikkei double top, broke down into resistance, rejected into resistance. That looks like a bearish flag over here. Nice legs, but here comes resistance at previous lows. Watch for a rejection. Everything's turning over. I mean, what was the big news? You know, Deutsche Bank, all those accounts. Was it like 100 offices around the world got raided? Something like that. Something crazy. Look for a breakdown. Looks like it bounced right across though. Nice legs. Look for into resistance rejection over, because I got a double top that's looking really nasty. I don't know, it bounced right at support, so see what happens on Nikkei. Dollar yen. Look at that right shoulder sling back. You got left, you got the reverse head and shoulders. So nice legs on that sling back. Looks like a whipsaw from previous lows as well, or higher lows. I don't know, it looks like it could carry. Completing the right shoulder. Let's see if we can get back above support. Watch for the flops. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. Hearing things. What up? Just doing the equities. Here's crude. Light crude. Remember we had the reverse head and shoulders on the weekly chart, long-term chart. Look at that neckline. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Got a pump, and then all the way back into support line. So watch for the turn. Little whipsaw over the 8. Watch for a nice V bottom, maybe into the 34. And then an opposing point and ride the wave. Long-term chart says the reverse head and shoulders price pattern is complete. Had a nice pop, came all the way back into support. I remember touting this a long time ago. Nice neckline, came all the way back into the neckline. Natural gas. Damn. Slammed it. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Broke out. Came all the way back in. Nicely done. Here's the Steel Corporation. I was imagining before I started setting these charts up, or the list, I was imagining that steel would be doing a lot better, but maybe being that it's so cheap that things are manufacturing is becoming a little easier to start off. I'm not sure. Looks like I got a V bottom forming. Let's see if it can't cross over the 8 to get some support. Need to get into previous lows, so maybe a pop over the 8 into the 13 back into the 8 so it can start building a bottom for this steel. It broke previous lows, so it doesn't feel good. But it's back into previous lows, so we'll just have to watch that one. And uranium, looks like it's reaching a top. Why is there a spike high? Exhaustion move right into previous lows and then a turnaround. Look at that. Look at that candle. Anybody screaming out loud? Can you post it? What's that candle right there? Slamming ding dong. Uranium doesn't look good for the next. I'm showing first lines of support at 26.50. So it's not at a bottom, but the falling star is within the trend. Signifies falling into support. So I'm guessing between 26.50 and 25, and then spike back above support. It's a real nasty looking thing, ain't it? But it's at a bottom. You see what I mean? If that nasty candle happened, you know, at a top, I forgot how to narrow in here. Anyways, if a falling star happened at a top, then you can see how the downtrend would come. But if it's at a bottom within a new trend change, then a falling star signifies falling into support. So first we need to confirm the candle. Second, we need to watch momentum change as the 8 crosses over. We did a close below the 8. Watch for a previous low break, and watch between 26.50 and 25 as the spike low comes in. Build, build, build. Interesting. Bitcoin again. Weekly chart. Where are we at? Where are we at? You can see now on the left shoulder head, right shoulder on the weekly. It's completing the right shoulder on Bitcoin, the weekly chart. See if we can get a turnaround here soon. Maybe one more spike low. Actually, let me see how we're doing on the hourly. Got higher lows over the 8 now. Gold, if you remember me touting the reverse head and shoulders, never really came into fruition. But I am showing a higher low still. So the trend is moving in a positive direction. I'm showing legs pointing up. So maybe a retrace, see how far away it is from its averages on the weekly chart. I'm thinking it's going to retrace. because you know V bottoms don't work. So I got a V bottom here, came back, higher low, came up, higher low, came in, crossed over. Watch for something coming back into the 1230 range. Just for an opposing point, so trend can keep building. Silver, same thing. See how far away it is from the 8? Is it open? Is it open? Is it open? Is it open? It's open. I got a falling star, closing the week, or closing the daily. Falling star, closing below the 8. Watch for confirmation of that, as the falling star signifies coming back into support. As silver is pretty close to a bottom. Or should be. Those are my lines from before. I never changed them. So maybe a whipsaw back into the pattern. We got a left shoulder head, right shoulder still completing. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice that before. Could be just completing that right shoulder. And now the pop across, and now I got support. Look for a retrace back into support as the opposing point comes in, as trend sets the pace. Gotta set the pace. Gold silver ratio. Damn. Who wants to buy some silver? Looks like silver is a great buy right now. It's 82 ounces per 1 ounce of gold. It made an all-time high? No shit. That's the highest it's ever been. 86.48 ounces per 1 ounce of gold. That is amazing. Time to buy some silver. I remember copper making those highs. Looks like I made a head and shoulders top. See the right shoulder on the top. Make sure we hold support. I remember the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder pop. And then it made a head and shoulders top. Make sure we hold support as the 8's crossing over the 13, but that could easily break down. It looks like a thin line. Look at the volume on copper. Increasing. Looks like just an intermediate bottom, and watch for trend to continue after the price pattern completed. So it popped, came into support. We were high as $3 and $31.50 per pound. Is that what it is on copper? Hold support copper. Come on. I got tons of copper actually. Every time I find a copper penny. Pre-82. Actually 82, half and half. It's hard to tell if it's half, because half the year it was all copper and then the other half was copper zinc. They blew it up. diluted the currency. So pre-82, copper pennies, aside from the steel years. Every time I find one, I throw it in the bucket. I got a full bucket. Amazingly, you can still find them, which is surprising. Go to the bank and buy $20 worth of pennies. You'll find a whole bunch of them. Moving on to miners. I got the big boy miners, GDX. Remember the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. And nothing really came of it. So maybe this is just the elongated right shoulder completing. Nothing's violated the pattern yet, as it needs to break down way below 1475. So it broke down, had a nice V bottom, came back into support higher low. Came into the 34, so over the 8, into the 8, over the 13, into the 34, pop. And as the 8 crosses over the 34, watch for price to come down to meet. Overall, that's a nice V bottom, so maybe an opposing point to continue the trend. I got a double bottom on GDXJ. That's a junior miners. Same thing, popped over the 34, and let's see if we can't keep pace here. Maybe an opposing point after the nice rise up. Let the 8 come into the 34 and price come down to meet that splash into support. Good old JNUG. I miss trading JNUG. AB bottom. I got a 2-bar reversal. So over the 8 into the 34, back into the 8, over the 13 and 8 into the 34. Watch for an opposing point. Same. Same for Nugget. It's got a lot of work to do. Remember the trend line that we had going? It broke down. Lots of resistance into the 30 range. Lots of resistance for the 13 range. AG, the big high flyer, last run on the miners. Looks like it's just an elongated price pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder coming through. Watch for that J-curve style here. It's just following trend. Needs a break. Needs to start making previous high breaks, higher highs, and higher lows, instead of following the trend here. So it's still in a downtrend. We just need to break it. Need to break it. 3 times silver. It's having a little trouble. Got a double bottom into resistance, back into support. Let's see. Let's watch these things develop. Looks like a bottom coming in, but it's pretty fresh. Double bottom into resistance, back into support. Follow trend or established trend. So we need to keep above here. Hecla mining. Nice little pop into resistance, back into support. Waiting for that 8 crossing over for momentum. Look at my artwork. That was the trend. What was it? The measured move. That's what that was. I took the pattern and made a measured move, and look where the price ended up. Almost exact. Let's make sure we get a churn out of it. That's a nice little pattern, which is, oh yeah. I remember this Northern Dynasty, NAK. Got the double bottom. Nice little hammer. Look at that sweet little hammer right there on the weekly chart. Sweetness. So you see the balance point, over the balance, into the balance. Over resistance, into support. Watch for the flat top breaks, NAK. So weekly chart could take a few, but it looks like 80 cents. Man, it never held that dollar, did it? Or was it $2? Remember that run on NAK? Anyways, I think we're coming to the end here. Yeah. So that'd be it. Hope that helps a lot of people for a little weekly review. I'll catch you on the flip side. Please join the Discord. I'd like to see some people in there starting some conversation.